Janet's version. Karen's version.
It was Karen's version.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think? Do you think she's using her gifts to make this world a better place to live in? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Our October theme is prosperity, abundance, and wealth. Anybody up for that? And you're so lucky to be here this morning because the board has just had this amazing retreat. It was facilitated by Zamira, and she's spoken here before, so you may recognize her. The last name kind of, yeah. So anyway, we focused a lot on abundance and prosperity. I mean, as we honored this abundance tree that we will be looking at here, as we talked about ways to grow our abundance as individuals and as a community. And so I am really excited about that. And as the guiding fiduciary board of this center, we know that in order for our center to grow in prosperity, that means each one of us and each one in the community gets an opportunity to grow in their prosperity and finances as well. Now, don't you think that sounds like a win-win situation?
Yes.
You bet. So are you, as an individual or as a family, willing to step into greater prosperity in all areas of your life? I'm not just talking money here, folks. I'm talking love. I'm talking joy. I'm talking opportunities. I'm talking all of the good. I love your reading because it's true. God has given us the desires that we have. And those desires lead us into a greater expression. Now, of course, sometimes that gets out of hand, but as long as we're paying attention and listening to the divine, the desires that we have, even if it's a pair for. Zamira said, if you buy 7 pairs of shoes at some place, you get.
You usually get this really nice duffel bag.
Yeah, right.
But you got to buy a lot of shoes.
Yeah, but she wears them and looks really good in them. So, and she's serving the divine all of the time. So, because we want that too, we're going to be focusing more on abundance in the coming time, just because we want more. We want more for our center, and we want more for you. We know it takes a village. This is your spiritual community and my spiritual community. We don't get money from a home office or anything like that. We don't get money from a larger organization. We're the ones that get to create our center. And as we grow, that means we get the opportunity to grow our prosperity. And that is an exciting thing. So what do you say? Do you want to expand?
Yes.
Do you want to make this a place that's bigger and more welcoming for more people and more families and more kids and more bathrooms?
Yeah,
I thought I'd get you on that one for sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, let's do this together. Again, our October theme is prosperity, abundance, and wealth. And our topic today is giving and receiving. Giving and receiving are such a natural part of life. I mean, we take in and we give out. We take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. And then the trees and the plants, they do the opposite. They take in that carbon dioxide and they give out the oxygen that is life-giving for us. We receive money and we spend it. We go to the grocery store and get groceries and fill up our refrigerator. And then we take the stuff out and eat it, ideally. In order for a relationship to thrive, we have to not only receive love, but we get to give that and get the joy that comes with giving that. So as I talk about this prosperity stuff, please know I'm really not just talking about money. What do you want more of in your life? What desires has the divine given you? We live in a reciprocal universe where everything is always absorbing and letting go, releasing and allowing. giving and receiving. And the ultimate giver of all, it's God, Spirit, the universe, the divine. Ernest Holmes said, "The eternal gift is always made." The gift of God is the nature of God. It is the eternal givingness. Now, God cannot help making the gift because God is the gift. God is the gift. And on this next slide, at the bottom, you might not be able to see it, but it says, "God hath made me to laugh." Mm-hmm. God has made us to laugh. God has made us to have our desires and to enjoy life and to share our joy in as many ways as we can. All that God is, all that the universe is, and all that it has is ours to call upon and use and joyfully share, as we do with our thoughts and our words and our actions and our beliefs. We're made of the same stuff as everything else. We talked about substance and source last week, I think it was. And it's like, there's one substance in the universe and everything and everyone is created of it. And it is a godness. As Ernest Holmes said, that is, God gives us the gift of itself. It is the very gift of life itself. Spirit has poured itself into us and is expressing as each one. Wow, there's God right there, expressing beautifully. Oh, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and each one of you. Do you remember that you were created specifically to be who you are, to bring your gifts? It is amazing as I look around the room to see and to recognize the gifts that each one of you bring. For we all bring them in our unique and interesting ways. So Spirit has expressed itself into us, and it is our nature to share those things, to share the love, to share the joy, to share the abundance. I mean, even little kids naturally share. It's what we naturally do until we are taught not to. Even toddlers, their nature is to share. Here, you want some of this sticky stuff? Huh? Yeah. Giving and receiving is absolutely part of who we are. There's our digestive systems. We can't just eat and eat and eat and keep it all in there. You know, we have to do that letting go. The divine letting go. It's part of the process, you know, and it's as natural to us as having a conversation where we listen to somebody's ideas and where we share our ideas, because that is one of the ways that we grow. And many of us have had the experience of being in a conversation with somebody who wants to do all of the talking, and they don't care if you're listening or not. They just want to talk. You know, it's just not a very satisfying conversation, not a very satisfying connection. It has to be give and receive, participate. I mean, think of hoarders. Mm-hmm. They keep bringing stuff home. Some of them stack it all up. But you know, it doesn't really do much good, because what I've heard is that often when they want to find something, they can't find it. It's lost. It's in a stack someplace. So it's sure, go to garage sales and get cool stuff, but then keep it circulating, because that's an important part of who we are as physical beings. That's an important part of the natural cycle of this universe that we live in. Now, receiving is a wonderful thing, and we're going to talk more about that next week. But receiving becomes meaningless unless we share what we are open to receive. We're told that we're made in the image and likeness of God. And God is the ultimate giver. I mean, don't you just love that feeling of having enough so that you can give? So that you can give joyfully, so that you can look around and see what's needed, what an individual, what a friend, what a loved one needs, and be able to share that in a healthy way, of course. We're not just talking about giving away everything to people who are not taking care of themselves, but to actually have that abundance that allows you to say, here, wow, I thought you'd like this. Yeah. And that is part of the giving that is so important. We're hardwired to give. Now, and we can do that because we can believe and have faith that there's no limit in God. As we keep the flow going, and that flow is really important, as we keep the flow going, the universe keeps providing for us. It keeps participating in that flow because the universe is flow. It is circulation. It is the very nature of the universe that we live in. And yes, you each give in your particular way. You each bring your light. You bring your joy. You bring your substance and your money. You bring your ideas. You bring your enthusiasm. You bring your intelligence. All of that is for us to share. Life constantly presents us with opportunities to give, and our lives are enriched by the process of giving. Okay, I've got a question. How many of you are familiar with the practice of tithing? Okay, all right. And now, how many would you rather I didn't talk about that at all? Okay, yeah. You know, just checking. That's kind of what I thought, but it's yeah. Now, the definition of tithing as we use it in the Science of Mind and Spirit is consciously giving a portion of your income to the place where you're spiritually fed. To the place where you are spiritually fed. Now, of course, we hope that you are spiritually fed here. And we recognize that this is not the only place that you are spiritually fed. But it's giving a portion of your income to the place where you're spiritually fed. Now, as I said before, we don't receive money from another organization. We're it, folks, and we are great. We are doing fine financially. We are in the perfect place to continue growing, because we've grown each year. We have more money in the bank every year than we had it the year before. I mean, we have enough to pay our bills and more. And probably a bit bigger space is going to cost more too. So, that's part of the growth. But I don't want you to think I'm up here saying, oh, give us some money because we need to pay the rent. We are prosperous, and we are ready to be even more prosperous. Now, we are hoping, and the board, Reverend Leah and the board and I talked about this during the weekend, about having some more classes about abundance, some more abundance activities. And I'm just kind of curious, are there folks here who would be interested in a more regular abundance meditation? Yeah? Okay, yeah. Because that's kind of, I didn't mention it at the board meeting, but it's kind of been on my mind. Maybe we could do, as we do once a month, we do our peace meditation. And so we might want to think about a frequency of doing an abundance meditation. And I think that'd be really, really fun. Really fun. Now, tithing is a spiritual practice. There seems to be some kind of magic called the law of circulation when we give. When we give, we receive. Now, originally, the tithe meant 10%. Originally, it was given to kings or landowners, or in the Hebrew and Christian Bibles, it was given to churches. And originally it was 10%. But you know, that sounds pretty scary to some people. Anybody here scared? Yeah, scared by the idea of 10% off the top? Yeah, yeah. Well, I am here today to invite you to experiment with tithing and to experiment with it in a way that can work for you. Here's how the experiment goes. Pick a level of giving. It doesn't need to be 10%. It could be 2%, it could be 3%, maybe even 5% if that's what you want to do. And this, of course, is if you're not already tithing. If you're tithing at 10%, keep it up, folks. Definitely. But pick an amount, and it can be a small percentage, because what's important is not necessarily the amount. What's important is the commitment to do that on a regular basis. So, say you pick 3%. All of the income that comes in, you take 3% off the top and set it aside. And then you're going to decide where to give it, where you are spiritually being fed. And ideally, right here, yeah. But do it and set it aside. Now, I've heard people say, but wait, that doesn't mean if I get a bonus, I don't have to tithe on a bonus, do I? I mean, or wait a minute, it's a gift from my brother. I don't need to tithe, on a gift from my 10 or whatever your percent is, 2, 3, 4, 5, on everything that comes in. Now, this is just an experiment because, as most of you know, Ernest Holmes said, this teaching isn't any good unless we experiment with it and see if it works. Because if tithing does not work for you, please do not do it. Or if you find that you are giving with resentment, don't give here with resentment. Because an important part of this whole process is noticing, oh my goodness, I am so abundant. I can take this 2% and I can set it aside and I can share it. And wow, isn't that cool? Because I am creating something bigger. I'm creating something that moves out into the world, that teaches other people about this amazing teaching we have, Science of Mind and Spirit. This changes lives. And also, you get to watch what kind of prosperity comes in. Now, I guarantee you, if you do this for a month, at whatever level you choose, you will see a difference in your life. You will see more joy. You will see more prosperity. You'll see more opportunities. You will see connections happening on the divine level that you never could have figured out in your personal human mind. This stuff works, folks. So if you haven't tried it, I encourage you to, not only because I want you to support the center, but because this will support your life. Just as it will bring more money into your life, it will bring more love. It will bring more of anything you want. For as you give, as you give your tithes, as your offerings, you can know that they're being put into the universe and that the universe will use them in the perfect way. It's an amazing, amazing thing. And there are stories. We actually don't have time, but there are stories about people who have had miracles when they Edwene Gaines, the one that wrote the book that Leah read from. I mean, she's an amazing woman, amazing teacher, and is pretty hilarious as well. And has she got some stories to tell, about finally saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try this. And vacations appear, opportunities appear, money seems to fall out of the sky. And so please, I encourage you to take the challenge to do this experiment and do it as an experiment. This is not a homework assignment. You know, I often give homework assignments, you know. This is not a homework assignment. This is an invitation to experiment and see how it works for you individually. You up for that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's take that and our prosperity into prayer, because as we give, we do receive, and we are absolutely blessed. And for me, of course, an important part of being so incredibly blessed is that I get to be grateful. I get to feel that gratitude just moving through my body, moving through my mind, moving through my soul, moving all around me in my energy field. That gratitude, because what I know is that right here and right now, always and everywhere, there is only Godness, only the divine, only spirit, only the ultimate intelligence, only that source of all that is. It is here for me. Oh my goodness, it is living as me, just as I know it is living as each one here. You are, we are the divine in physical form. There is no way we could be disconnected from the goodness, from the plenty, from the wonder of this God thing. We are here to express it, to be it, to live it, to share it, to grow it. And we're here to do this in joy. So no matter what your financial situation has been, what I want each one to remember is that there is more. Spirit is available in whatever form it is needed. Call on it. And so I just declare for each person that this is a week of abundance. This is a week where pennies show up in the parking lot. This is a week where balloons fly into our sight to give us messages that we are loved. This is a week where we are reminded by Spirit in clear and tangible and delightful ways that it is here for us. And so we can claim our good. We can claim our good, and if we want to ratchet that up, we can share our good. So I know that this is a blessed week for each one here, just as it is a blessed week for this community, for all, the ones who are here, the ones who are not here. We are blessed. And I am so grateful that I can speak my word of truth, and that the law, that part of God that has all the stuff and all the know-how, the law acts on it, making what I have called forth true, bringing it into manifestation so that we can use it and enjoy it and share it. It is released, it is done, and so it is.
You've got to keep